Inspector General of Police says over 11,000 police officers have been withdrawn from VIP protection duties. He says that directive is a strategic realignment. The federal government confirms that former President Goodluck Jonathan is now out safely from Guinea-Bissau following the military coup that toppled the country's government. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on China's television. I'm Sean Kimale right here in Abuja. We have our eyes and our hands right here on the throttle. We are following for you some of your major political stories across the land. Let's begin with some of the information coming from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where the former President Goodluck Jonathan is now confirmed to have departed Guinea-Bissau following the coup that led to the overtake of government in the West African country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also confirmed that President Jonathan left on a special flight with members of his delegation and is safe. According to them, former President Goodluck Jonathan is very safe and out of Guinea-Bissau. He left with a special flight with members of his delegation, including IBM Chambers. The spokesperson for the ministry, Kimiebi Ebenfa, has been the one revealing some of the details, where he says President Jonathan was in that country chairing the West African Elders Foreign Election Observation Mission that was in the country monitoring last Sunday's presidential and legislative elections before the military announced the seizure of power. So much to talk about tonight, and it's about our country, the state of affairs, the security in our country. Tinubu in the saddle, and perhaps the way forward for our country. It doesn't look like the president can be left alone in all of this. He needs help. He needs Nigerians to join in and help out in whatever way. The enemies of our country are pounding on every side. We need to come together to be able to save and rescue our country. How do we do that? We've got some answers for you tonight. Stick around with me. My guest and I will be discussing some of these issues, especially some of those conversations on the floor of the National Assembly. Also, we're revealing to you whether or not people are obeying President Bola Tinubu's orders, or is the man just giving orders and talking for talking's sake? We'll be hearing whether or not those orders that he's giving in the past days have been followed. But first, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The Senate has constituted an 18-member ad hoc committee to investigate the implementation of a Safe School initiative, appointing Senator Orji Uzor as chairman. The constitution of the committee follows a recent resolution where lawmakers demanded a thorough investigation into the Safe School program, questioning how funds allocated to the initiative have been utilized, given the continued attacks on educational institutions across the country. Their concerns intensified after the deadly raid on Government Girls' School, Maga in Kebbi State, where gunmen killed the vice principal and reportedly abducted 25 students. Meanwhile, the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, is asking the federal government to explore diplomatic options and constant engagement to address issues related to the decision by President Donald Trump of the United States of America to declare Nigeria a country of particular concern. He also calls for caution in dealing with the global community. He was speaking at a news conference ahead of the 45th anniversary of the Nigerian Law School, class of 1980, in Abuja. The Senate Ad hoc Committee on National Security has held its North Central Zone public hearing in Jos Plateau State as part of preparations for the National Security Summit. The hearing was aimed at fostering inclusive dialogue and generating actionable solutions to the worsening security challenges confronting the region and the country. But the event was marked by the absence of key security chiefs and governors from the zone. Lastly, Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has presented a proposed 2026 budget of 642 billion naira to the Kebbi State House of Assembly. The budget, titled Budget of Transformation and People's Empowerment, prioritizes development and accountability through significant investment in infrastructure.
Thank you. You know, whenever we are on, it's prime time on television. So let's get the prime time conversation on. Let me tell you what has happened today with regards to President Bola Tinubu's orders. So the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetu, concerns the presidential order to strip very important persons in the country of police escort as they review the actual number of officers diverted from core policing duties. President Bola Tinubu on Sunday directed immediate withdrawal of police personnel assigned to political office holders and influential individuals across the country. The president says the move is part of a broader national security plan aimed at improving police efficiency and reinforcing public safety. According to the IG, the move aligns with the core mandate of the Nigerian police force, which is the protection of citizens, communities, and public order. He added that a total of about 11,566 personnel withdrawn from VIP duties have now been redeployed.
The recent presidential directive that we should withdraw policemen from VIP protection made us to discover that 11,566 policemen are engaged in VIP protection as at today in Nigerian police force. Of course, this is not the first time we are implementing this type of directive. Recently, I gave instruction that policemen should be withdrawn from private individuals, and those private individuals, desirous of police protection, should reapply. Because we saw the need to profile these individuals that are applying for police protection. And we carried out that exercise. During that time, a number of policemen were withdrawn, many of them not reassigned before this presidential order came. So it's something that we have been doing. But the recent presidential order will make the implementation more effective.
All right. So let's dig deeper and dive right into all of these conversations. And of course, there's been conversation in the National Assembly, debate about the security situation in the country. The National Assembly members are projecting and proposing the death penalty for kidnappers in the country. And there are those who are saying there is a big question mark on what happened in Kebbi State. How would the military would have been withdrawn? Who gave the order for them to have been withdrawn from the scene before the kidnap or the attack on that school happened in Kebbi State? What exactly went down? And how is it that we are not able to secure ourselves and now we're having sporadic attacks on different parts of the country, especially schools, and the federal government is now forced to close some schools, and some states have given an order for schools to be closed. And all of these are assurances that things will get better. There are heated debate on the floor of the Senate, as we saw yesterday. But there is a particular conversation that got me thinking. And it was a question asked by a Borno senator. It's perhaps a guest that you know too well on this program. He had some kind of exchange with the leader of the Senate, and he was asking some question and talking about the state of technology in terms of fighting insecurity in this country. Let me allow you to listen to what transpired between Senator Goswi Akpabio and Senator Ali Ndume. Take a listen.
The only thing that they can do is to track. But we don't have satellite images and capacity.
To your knowledge, we have.
Sir, I
was a governor. I used to track criminals up to Kwara State, up to Taraba, up to Jalingo.
Mr. President.
So it's just the wheel.
Mr. President.
I pick them up in any part of the country. So please don't go there. How did they even?
I'm giving you information, Mr. President. Please.
But I'm saying
we have 4 satellites. Nigeria has 4 satellites. And we don't have satellite coverage or surveillance 24 hours. We don't have it.
The Civil Senator, can I thank you for your contributions? And plead that some of these details should be discussed in closed session. Point of order, leader.
Well, what is exactly the truth of the matter? A conversation that you have behind closed doors. We've been having all of these conversations for a long time. What do we need to tell ourselves the truth tonight? Because people are being killed. The satellite that we said China procured for us, or we paid China to do, one lot was lost in space. It's in the news. Go on Google Nigeria satellite, NICOMSAT. Find out for yourself whether these satellites are working, whether or not we are on the verge of actually having another deal for a satellite that works. But don't do this. Some things in this country. Well, let's get the conversation going. And when I saw that video, I made a call to the senator to say, come and talk about this, and let's talk about the security situation in our country. Senator Aline Dume, senator representing Borno South in the National Assembly, is live for us here. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Marcel.
After that engagement with the Senate President, have you been able to go back and do some more research about the situation of things? Because it does look like you have your own facts about how many satellites that we have. But I'm very sure that you probably would have made more calls or spoken to some people or done a bit more work on it, because it's disputing it. Maybe there's an information the Senate President has that all of us don't have.
Well, Sean, thank you very much. What happened actually is unusual. Number one, I'm a senior senator. The Senate President sitting there is presiding. He's just to preside. When I speak, he should have allowed me to speak my mind freely. And then if the information I provided are not factual, then he can enlighten me. But how can he? I know I take it. I take so many things these days, and it's embarrassing sometimes. How can he say, for example, don't go there? If I'm a senator.
Maybe it's because it's a sensitive security matter.
No, if it is sensitive, then up initio will say that this motion is sensitive because we want to discuss everything that matters about it. But what is sensitive besides the information I'm giving? I know that Opabio has been in the business of communication, but that doesn't mean that somebody like Ndume is ignorant. I'm in the business of GSM too before I came into politics. So at least, and even every Nigerian, and in fact everybody. But you know that we have one of the fundamental problems we have in the security sector is that we don't have ability to track criminals real time. And the satellite we are talking about, Nigeria has only 4, and one is, as you say, it has issues, but we have 4. That is big enough, but it's not adequate to solve the problem, the security challenges. Why are we not able to trace the general that is missing in action? It's because we don't have adequate tracking system. When you can Google yourself now, if you want my position, you want to Google channels here, you can do it from Google Map, and you will see it, and it can direct you. But that is not to say that we can, from the satellite now, see us in the studio, not to talk of what we are discussing about. But anyway, that one is gone, and we said that we are going to discuss that matter in a close session.
I'm very interested in technology which you went into, because this warfare that the nation is facing is not something that we can face with just bare hands and just guns and shooting guns. We need technology and intelligence.
Yes.
You were the chair, and that's why I'm particularly very interested in knowing. You were the chairman of the Senate Committee on the Army.
I'm still a member of the committee.
You're still a member of that committee.
Yes.
And I do know that you're one person that has spoken and related with me, especially because you come from Borno State, a state that has been highly impacted by the terrorism and insurgency in the Northeast region. So you probably are aware of some of these issues. It's important for Nigerians to know where our deficiencies are so that we can pick ourselves and pick ourselves. So this embarrassment is too much. These ragtag, these people that are less than 4,000 or 5,000, terrorizing a population of 200 million. It's shameful. Yeah. And if we cannot call ourselves to order and say, what exactly do we need? How many satellites do we need to be able to monitor? Do we really have the satellite? If you have the satellite, why not call NICOMSAT? Why not call the Minister of Science and Technology? Who are the people that are supposed to be asking questions? We're talking about the families of dead citizens of Nigeria, innocent citizens that are dead. Why are we not waking up in this country? Senator, what do we know? What do we have in terms of manpower? Do we have the technology? Do we have the IT to be able to fight this terrorism? Or we're not using them?
You look agitated.
I'm very pained. My state is affected. Your state is affected.
Now you feel the pitch. When we were talking about Boko Haram 15 years ago, in fact, I was nearly sent to prison. Because as I was talking, the way I'm talking now, the government then wanted to make me a scapegoat. But that is by the side. Let's go to the important, not lamenting, not getting frustrated. No, just calm down. This time I'm the one that will calm you down. Okay, we have a problem. We must admit that we have that problem first. But fortunately now that the government, the president, is looking more responsive than he was. These measures that he has taken recently is commendable, but that is not enough. The major problems are known: training, equipment, ammunition, and motivation. Let me take it one by one. The training.
Senator, just a moment. The question that I asked earlier, and we will go to all of those issues, is this satellite matter. We cannot sweep it on.
Okay, let me tell you the matter.
Do you know the reason? You know the reason why I'm going to ask this question, and we're going to investigate. Nigeria has paid money.
Yeah.
We've invested.
Yeah.
It's like the CCTV cameras on the street of Abuja that suddenly disappeared. Who got the contract? Who paid for it? Where are the CCTV cameras? These are supposed to fight crime and criminality. The same thing with our satellite. How the federal government should come out to tell us how many satellites do we have? Why are we not able to track these criminals? Don't we have the technology to be able to track them? GSM technology, satellite technology. We need answers in this country. And that's why we cannot sweep it under the carpet, Senator.
Well, you are asking me as if I'm the DG.
No, because you're a member of the Senate Committee. Nigerians need to know.
Shogun, you have started again. You come here to interview me, not to interrogate me.
I'm not interrogating you.
This is what you are trying to do. I'm not here for
I want us to stay on that matter.
I'm even more interested. I'm telling you from the sources I have, and I don't have to tell you the sources, is that Nigeria has 3 satellites in the outspace there. And that is not to say it's not, no big deal. I think it's one of the highest in Africa. But then, to orbit, it is orbiting. The satellite operation is orbiting. If you want to have real time, then you need to have more satellite in the outspace there, so that you can have your information as the satellite orbits the Earth, coming back to Nigeria's station and like that. We don't have that capacity. If we had that capacity, even beginning from the Chibok girls and all that, when America was giving us information, they had their satellite on us, and that's why they were able to give us further information, because if they zoom on that, you get it. But in that Nigeria's case, it's not there. We don't have the satellite images that is required. We only have aerial images, like the Nigerian Air Force has what they call UAVs, about 6 of them or so. We have about 12 Tucanos, right? We have about some few attack helicopters. But all this cannot work effectively if you don't have the coverage of where your people are, where are the enemies, and that you can only do through the satellite. And for now, it is not something that we will say, oh, Nigerian government should do it immediately. But it is something that we can collaborate with bigger countries like China, Russia, even France, or particularly US. US has about 8,500 satellites out there. We only have 4. And when you say you want to have real images, you can't say. So I don't know where that information is coming. Yes, if you use your Google edition now, you can see what is happening in your house. If you install cameras in your house and then you use is it the recent camera system, you can attach it to your device and see it right here in the studio. But you can't see what is happening in Sambisa. You can't see what is happening in the forest of Kebbi. So you need to get that technology. Yeah. But most importantly, again, as you say, since we want to stay on it, if we have satellite and if we have that capacity or capability, as he said, then why didn't we locate the
girls?
Yeah, and let me tell you, before I go further even, as I'm speaking to you, 13 of our teenage girls were abducted by ISWAP in my constituency since Friday, I think, or Saturday. Up to now, no news. Only one of the married women among them escaped. And we are calling, we have been shouting, well, no information now. The General Uba is missing in action. And up to now, nobody can say whether he's dead or alive. I hear Mr. President, in his speech, is accepted that he's dead. But if he's dead, where is the dead body?
Senator.
It's because, let's go now.
No, I wanted to actually add to, so that you can buttress on it. Over 200 girls that were kidnapped. What witnesses say is that they carried them on motorbikes.
Which girls?
No, the school girls in Kebbi. Now, they said they carried them on motorbikes. Let's assume one bandit carried 3 girls. Divided by 200. We're talking about several motorbikes, maybe 50 or 60. And these people must have traveled minimum of 30 minutes from Maga, where these school girls. And if we have the technology, it's easy for us to be able to track them.
Yeah, so you're saying, and then he's saying that, for example, the SP, he's saying that when he was a governor, he was tracking people up to Lafia. And so what happened now that they can't track people from Kebbi to this? And back to our topic, I just found out now, because I use information extraction system too. We have 5 satellites launched since 2003, but only 2 remain operational. This is just I got this information.
But the 2 that are even operational, Senator, the 2 that are operational, do they have military capability? Because they are satellites.
No, it's not the issue of military.
No, hold on, sir. There are in the American situation that you mentioned, there are satellites for communication and for communication purposes, and there are satellites for military purposes. So these satellites that we have, the level and the capacity also depends whether or not they can give us real-time military capabilities that we can use in warfare. That's another question for another
day. That is not my question. I'm not a military man, but I know that if you want to track, you must get real-time. As I said, we even have AUVs, 6 of them I think about with the Nigerian Air Force, but you still have the problem. And even with that, one of the major problem we have that you say, I don't know, you say we should not talk about is, look, the Nigerian army, we are talking about Nigerian army. We are talking about Nigerian army. We are not talking about police. We are not talking about, civil defense. We are not talking about this. All these put together are supposed to be the ones in charge of internal security. And the Nigerian army is supposed to be, deployed when those are overwhelmed, like what is happening in some countries. You understand? But most importantly, now that the president has, stood up to even say, okay, we are declaring emergency over security, which is good, by starting recruit 220,000 more soldiers. That is good. And the police means 30,000 or other security agencies. That is, you are putting about 50,000 additional boots on the ground. But that is not enough. You have to equip them. You have to pay them.
For Senator, on the issue of withdrawal of VIPs, what do you make of that decision?
I have been calling for that since. This is one of the commendable things Mr. President did, and it should be implemented effectively. We should see it on the ground. I thought today I will not see so many police in the National Assembly, But there's still crowded police in the National Assembly. So I don't know what the IGP is talking about.
So you're saying that
now,
the ones in National Assembly should be withdrawn from senators, from House of Reps?
Everybody. Security. If you secure Abuja, why do you need police attached to personalities?
Even your own?
I don't have a police. I only have an orderly.
Who is a police officer?
No, let me tell you my own. I'm not saying I'm excusing. You know my issue during that Boko Haram peak. Mm-hmm. One of the top policemen and the security agencies thought I'm not only politically exposed person, but my life was then at risk. So I was attached 3 policemen. But that was a big crowd to me. I refused. And I insisted that if there is going to be any attachment of police to me, it should be an orderly. And you know why? Because I'm an accused person. So I need police to monitor me so that next time they don't say I've gone to, I had a meeting with social people or I had this, all that kind of a thing. So I need that plain clothes police by me so that he will now testify as to even my movements, as to who I relate to, but not to protect me, no. So I am of the view that all this police, you can't imagine what is happening. Some of our colleagues, some ministers have police attached to their wives. What is their business with that? Have police attached to their children. I saw some people, I don't want to mention the name, but one of these politically exposed persons, his own son, that is matured, is moving with a convoy. SSS, the police, they say, no, that is wrong.
Abuse of office.
It's more
abuse
than
of the institution.
It's an insult of office, not abuse. Because and some of my colleagues, I went to one of my colleagues' house after dinner, and I went to his house and saw more than 10 police.
And this is a politician too.
He's my colleague, I say, he's even my junior.
In the National Assembly?
Yes. A member of National Assembly, some of them, if you see them coming, you pull back thinking that maybe it's the president or the vice president that is coming. You can see even the president. The convoy that the president goes about with is too much, too. Secure the place. And when the president goes, you withdraw. Secure Abuja, and the president can even drive out, and himself. But when you secure personalities, and this is what is happening in Nigeria, then others, common people, as we call them, become vulnerable, and we don't care. So if you secure Abuja, then you can drive at night. And let me tell you, this is what is happening in most countries. I recently traveled to Abidjan here, Côte d'Ivoire. And I was very scared of going out, to explore the situation. But the people in the hotel told me, now you can go, nothing. It's safe, you can go around. There's no kidnapping there. There's no armed robbery. In Côte d'Ivoire here, in Ghana, the same thing. If you hear, the one time they hear about armed robbery in Ghana, it was Nigerians that wanted to introduce it there. And before you know, they were apprehended. In Ghana, I wanted to go to I came in the night, wanted to get some, nuts and all that kind of thing. And there's a mall, I saw the sign. I asked the receptionist, is it safe to go? They said, no, it's safe. Even as I was going out, even ladies were going up and down. In Nigeria, can you do that? Even from your house here, can you take a walk from here to Asokoro? No.
So, Senator, give me a moment. We need to go on the break. When we come back, we'll be talking about remuneration, the payment, and the kind of salary package that these officers that we are tasking with the responsibility of securing your life and how much are they being paid? What kind of equipment available to them? They go on missions in nearby countries and they are heavily equipped. Why are they not able to function well in Nigeria? Some of the conversation that we'll be having after this break. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Senator Ali Ndume has been speaking with us about the security situation in the country. Senator, you and some of your colleagues are asking critical questions as to why we are where we are today in terms of security, and that those who are concerned also about the welfare of those whom we are tasking to go and defend all of us. President has said, recruit more. What must we urgently do?
Honestly, urgently, we must discard everything as far as I'm concerned. And even if it is necessary to shut down some discretionary services.
Like what? Like what?
Starting with National Assembly.
Really?
Yeah.
The lawmaking body?
Yeah. Lawmaking body, you cut it off and ask us to sit maybe once, quarterly, or in a quarter, for example, we sit for some time, depending on the workload that we have, and pay us accordingly. And you do the same thing. Now, the 2025 budget is not running. We are in 2025, okay? But the recurrent and personal, what do you call it? Overhead side is running. And who is benefiting? Less than 5% of Nigerians. And it's a lot of money. So why don't you shut down all these things, use the money to secure the people first? Then you can hear this.
You might be in trouble with your colleagues over this statement. You're asking them to go home.
No, I've been in trouble before so many times. What do they... we'll go on suspension again?
To shut down the National Assembly and so that the nation can focus on use the money.
No, I'm not saying that you should shut down the National Assembly. Let me clear. So, and it's not because you have scared me now. What I'm saying is realistically, our house is on fire. And we need everything to put that fire out. So if that means that, look, National Assembly will have to reduce your activities so that we pay you less and then use the money to concentrate on the security. I'm sure many of my colleagues will agree to that. And as I said, even in the service, federal service especially, a lot of money is going in there. But those services are discretionary. You can shut them down.
And prioritize.
Yes, and prioritize. That's why in the American system, their spending is classified into two, discretionary and non-discretionary. If you hear that the government is shut down, it doesn't mean everybody goes home. No, the discretionary expenditures, offices are the ones that they have to go and you go and look for another job until the budget can be funded. That is how it's supposed to be in Nigeria. It's supposed to be prioritized. Now that the president has decided to declare emergency, he should take his pen and paper and draw some executive orders saying close this ministry, close the National Assembly, or reduce the workload of National Assembly, save, this is the money that we are going to save from that, and then you use it to buy MRAPs, or you use them to buy ammunition, or you use them to train the security agencies we need. Or even if we needed to use that money to pay our security agencies or personnel that are in the war front. And you say we are going to discuss that. Do you know that until recently, and this is also because the president immediately took that, before Tinubu took over, the basic salary of a private soldier was 50,000 naira. The same thing with other security agencies, SSS, police, and police, they increased their salary. Maybe it was around 70 or so, But all of them, especially the Nigerian army, as at 2023, they were collecting 50,000 naira as salary. How much is 50,000 naira? 50,000 naira is just about $35 in a month. That means an average private man is paid less than $2 that time. Now that it has been increased to 104, they are collecting 104. Recently, it is Mr. President that increased it. Private is receiving 1,004. Do you know how much that is? That is $67.80. While a private sector in Nigeria, in the American embassy, but that is too far and too advanced. But they are collecting $2,114 monthly. That's how much? It's about 3 million per month. That person can put his life down. And before President Buhari and President Tinubu increased their daily this allowance, they were paid 1,500. And now they are being paid 5,000. Just to eat per day, can 5,000 buy you meals, 3 square meals?
So the fundamentals will be that the president needs to make a consequential order of increment in the salaries and wages of our military. In fact, they are asking for more boots on the ground, which he has made an order. And I mean, realistically, we may not have those employed until another 1 year. And because of the logistics involved.
That is not only the problem. Because as I told you, I've been chairman army, I work closely with them, I interact with the troops on ground. One thing you can't take away from Nigerians, forget about what we talk at the top, in the politically. Many Nigerians believe in Nigeria. Many Nigerians are committed, especially our army and even security agencies. But man must survive. How can you pay somebody 50,000 and expect him to put in his best? Even 100,000. Let's be honest. How much is 100,000?
So there must be an urgent action in the increment of the wages and salaries of the,
especially the armed forces and other security agencies. If you look at immigration, as civil defense, the same thing. They are not paid compared to what I'm being paid. A senator, you know how much they pay senator?
We don't know. How much?
No, I don't know. You know. I will not tell you.
I don't know.
I will not tell you.
We understand you are paid in millions of naira.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of money.
Look,
even more than a professor.
You are now trying to derail from that.
No, I'm not derailing.
I'm just saying that we are being paid too much. Or you know, more than the person that is there. You see, for me now, even if I'm going to be paid the same amount they are paying me now, if you say I should go to Kebbi to do work, I will not go. I don't want to die like that. Especially if you die like that, nobody will even retrieve your dead body. A general's body is still out there. So how do you expect people to put in their best? And another thing, besides what we have been discussing, they don't have the equipment. You can have, you know, I was trying to, before now, find out the prerequisite of having a task force battalion. Because there is kind of the prerequisites to have a battalion. So boots, everything, including the glass of cup they need, is stated. But in Nigeria, you can't find that.
Senator, do you know what? And I mean, I was in the U.S. and they were taking us on a tour of a particular facility, which is very close to the White House.
Yes.
And I asked a critical question, which is like a security question, and I asked if there is an attack less than 15 minutes to deploy more than 500 to 1,000 soldiers to that site. It takes less than 50. So I'm imagining that a lot of the times we don't even need boots and. But let's say, for example, Senator.
We can,
just for a moment.
We can afford that.
Boots on every place?
No, every place? On most places.
Yeah.
But let me give you an example.
Yeah. So but the question I'm asking, Senator, is that the response time, if we have like a special squad that you're talking about, for example, and they have firepower and they have the air surveillance power to be able to move in less than 1 hour, these people were still taking these school girls on motorcycle.
Where would you go?
If you put the flashlight on them and air surveillance, you'll be able to track them to wherever.
By the time you fly lower on them and they know that the soldiers are around, they will throw away even their motorcycles
and run away.
They don't have 2 lives.
Yeah. But so we need elite special squad, don't we?
We have that. In fact, that's why Musa was a special squad person.
The former CDS?
No, Musa that is missing.
The general.
Now. The general. You know, this is our army. They are trying. No? They have special squad. That's why he went there on a motorcycle into that Sambisa area. It was on a motorcycle. 15 of them. They were pursuing the ISWAP like they were doing. That is, he had 2 or 3 of his officers on motorcycle. He himself was on a motorcycle. It was not like he went with this thing. They went with motorcycle. But there's no, surveillance.
Surveillance support.
No
support. Air support.
Yes. If they had air support, they would not even... And you could hear the communication that they had. And not only that, let me give you an hour. Do you know that we don't have up to 200,000 soldiers?
Up at the moment?
Yes.
So, army or the entire force?
We have, I think, 135,000 to 200 to even 150 soldiers. And then Navy is 20, I think, to 25,000. And the Nigerian Air Force is 15 to 18,000. We don't have MRAPs. As I said, in each battalion, there is supposed to be a specific number of MRAPs. There's supposed to be specific number of, what do they call it? Is their vehicle loaded?
Armor tank?
No, yeah, armor tank. There are supposed to be specific gun trucks for a battalion, and the specific number of troops. But if I know of a task force battalion now that only have 400 people.
Give me another moment, Senator. I need to go on a break. We'll come back and wrap up our conversation with Senator Ali. Much everyone for staying with us. On the home stretch now, Senator, we're due to close the program. What would be your final word tonight? We are in a dire situation. We need to secure our country. Trump's pressure is there. If you were in President Bola Tinubu's shoes, what would you be doing right now?
Well, he's taken one of the bold steps, but the next thing is to walk the talk. That is to say, even if he needs to sign executive order, he should do that to make sure the Nigerian army are equipped and other security agencies, not only army.
But he declared security emergency.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
what's the difference between state of emergency and security?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I think he's trying to be,
to work his way around the constitution.
Work his way around the constitution, but he can sign an executive order on this issue of security and then line out the line of actions. Like he has already said, recruit so-so, do so-so. Then the Nigerian army, I'm trying to say that you should equip the soldiers, because the soldiers, to be honest with you, are not equipped. They are definition of everything. If we have battalion, then that battalion should have what it takes, even if it's a task force battalion. That means that the personnel there should be from minimum of 500 up to 900. And all the equipment that each battalion needs is specified by NATO, or is it something standard battalion? The number of soldiers,
the number of equipment,
everything is
artillery.
Everything. The number of 500 to 900 soldiers, 3 to 5 companies with a command headquarters. Equipment, you need 500 to 900 assault rifles, pistols, machine guns, sniper rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, anti-tank guided missiles, mortars, vehicles, standard.
And we really don't have all of this.
Now, 50 to troops carrying 50 to 90 number of troops. In some so-called battalions in our place now, they don't have up to 10. And then command vehicles, everything is stated. So the president should take a look at this. Right. Even logistic tanks, recovery maintenance vehicle, they are all stated.
All right. Senator, many thanks, as always.
But you know what? Let me last the last one. MRAP. You know why? These are soldiers. If they know they have MRAP that is efficient, they have the gun truck on it, they can chase the terrorists.
Thank you so much indeed. Senator Aline Jume, Senator representing Borno State in the National Assembly. Well, that's our program tonight. Many thanks, everyone. It gets emotional sometimes when you are heavily touched. The love of country is right here. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.